Hello everybody, welcome back to It's Current Year for another fan submission. Once again, it's the Scion of Slaanesh, aka Neckbet, aka Total War Warhammer content creator punching bag. Surely he loses this game. We had a win from him on the channel and that's almost unheard of, but today he is up against Call HR, who is playing the Darwi, and Scion of Slaanesh, aka Neckbet, aka the Human Punching Bag, is playing the Greenskins. So let's have a look at Call's forces. He's got 4 gyrocopters in the air, very common strat against the Greenskins because they don't have a lot of good tools for shutting down aerial troops. He's got a little bit of a castle here. Some Longbeards, I believe, up the front. Longbeards and miners with blasting charges. Some miners with blasting charges in behind them. So a bit of a crisscross formation. We've got some rangers, some slayers, and in the back some more Longbeards. And leading the force up on the throne is Thorak Ironbrow. Because why wouldn't you take Thorak Ironbrow? He's probably the only actually good lord on the Darwi roster at the moment. But yeah, Locus of Power for obviously the miscasts, Rune of Doom, Rune of Wrath and Ruin, and Rune of Speed. Pretty self-explanatory kit. He's got a ton of resistances. He's very hard to kill, and he's actually a pretty good duelist as well. So, yeah, a bit of a powerhouse lord for the Darwi, and one you see very, very often. For the Greenskins, we have 4 units, I believe, of Goblin Wolf Rider Archers, one of which is the Mangy Marauders with their armor piercing, as well as immune to psychology. Not that that's super relevant against the Darwi, don't have a lot of terror. But we have Goblins in the front lines. Their job is to die and basically fight and provide war points. Behind them we have some Orc Boys, the 8-peak loonies, more Orc Boys, more Night Goblins, but some Night Goblins with Fanatics, so 2 units of Night Goblins with Fanatics. I like this against the Darwi a lot. Behind them, some Black Orcs, and behind them, a real feature of this force, 2 units of Doom Diver catapults. Doom Divers are a very, very good choice here because, or we'll talk about them in a second. We've also got a Giant River Troll Hag. She's coming in with Soul Blight as well as Spirit Leech, and I believe she also has Mither over here. No, just the Odor. Looks like Mither's been cut. That's interesting. And then we've got Grimgor Ironhard over here, a pretty big duelist in his own right. Not taking any of his items, just your neck. So he's probably pretty cheap actually. But yes, Doom Diver catapults, similar to something like the Hell Cannon, they have absurd projectile correction. They're like homing missiles. So they actually hit, as we see a Spirit Leech going down, nice early Spirit Leech there from Neckbat going down to try and put some damage into the gyrocopters. They can actually hit gyrocopters out of the sky. They're also good against tightly packed infantry. They don't have as much splash damage as regular sort of catapult infantry, but they kill models. And against the Darwi, that's pretty impactful because if you're shooting, rangers or handgunners or things like that, the units die, they take their ammo with them. Same for blasting charges, same for things like iron breakers and things like that. So killing models is probably just as important as just dealing splash damage. So generally the Wolf Rider Archers here are going to have a hard time actually hitting and doing any damage. Gyrocopters do have 100 armor, and obviously they do have that sort of stagger animation at times. So they're not actually very good at dealing any damage to gyrocopters whatsoever. And we've seen some good target priority here from Call HR already, straight out of the gate on the Morgrim's Mangy Marauders. Neckbat is going to decrew the Doom Divers. Pretty good idea. Manages to dodge that bombing run. This one might be a little bit more impactful, but they're probably going to get back on their machines now, or there are some more bombs coming down from the other, potentially from the other gyrocopters. Probably would be better off actually sniping the Giant River Troll Hag because, like I said, the gyrocopters don't really care about all this, and whilst the Doom Divers have been decrewed, probably a good chance for the flaming attacks and anti-large of the Brimstone guns to actually you could basically kill the Giant River Troll Hag in a matter of with 4 units, you could probably kill her in about 30 seconds. But no, again, nice Spirit Leech concentrated on the damaged unit. Again, we see some bombing runs, nice use of them, but they're not doing a lot of damage actually. And the gyrocopters now starting to take a little bit of damage, but still basically full effectiveness given their unit models remain fully intact. So the Dwarven box has been forced to approach, even with the Doom Divers basically caught sort of unmanning and remanning their gear. Doom Diver not managing to correct itself particularly well just there, but we see this brave little gobbo coming in and again managing to split the gap. So pretty bad RNG there on NecBet's behalf, but you take that sometimes in the game. These gyrocopters look like they've been forgotten about. Mangy Marauders have taken a lot of unit model losses, but used a fair bit of their ammo and have got the gyrocopters into a position where they may be able to be spirit leeched off and lose some unit models. Front lines just looking at one another at the moment, and there's a bit of a to and fro in, and I think this is actually fine for the Dawi to do this, because the Doom Divers have been pressured, although they are sort of starting to they are starting to sort of ring home now and get some good hits in, but blasting charges will go down and take some goblins down. Again, NecBet's probably pretty fine with that. They're not being used on the night goblins, they're not being used even on the orc boys, who can probably just through their hitting power and their decent HP pools kind of outlast things like miners. But the gyrocopters now looking pretty bashed up, and I'm not sure, I think one unit might have even been, no, there they are, they've just been separated slightly. So Call HR, you will see in a moment, I believe, is going to turn his attention to the River Troll Hag, and I think that's probably come a little bit too late. But oh, there we go. Two nice hits by the Doom Divers. This is what I mean. They have really good accuracy, even at flying stuff like, manticores, gyrocopters, pterodons, this kind of thing. Black Orcs are going to tank through some blasting charges. They won't mind too much about that. Thorak's going to sit back here. I think we're probably going to see the Room of Doom come down in a sec once everything starts to engage. The Spirit Leeches are starting to really ring home. But the gyrocopters now have kind of used a lot of their ammo and have probably got some decent value, and they've delayed the shooting of the Doom Divers as we see some nice fanatics going down, tearing through the miners with blasting charges, tearing through, or it's just miners over here as well. So, I mean, the long bids, there's no real high value target here for the fanatics to really hurt, but finally we are seeing some brimstone gun action on to the River Troll Hag, and she's gonna not like this at all. Yeah, weak to fire through regen, obviously is a large target herself. This is what we came to see though. This is what we absolutely came to see. Grimgor absolutely just going ham-bone on this poor little engineer. And engineers are no slouches, particularly with the Room of Doom. Actually some really decent stats, although you're next kind of mitigating that. 0 melee defense right here. Not that, Grimgor lacks melee attack to get through melee defense, but this Master Engineer, even with 280 armor-piercing weapon strength, is just not going to appreciate this fight whatsoever. The Black Orcs now are into the ranges. Thorak is being a little bit too passive here. Thorak needs to be fighting. Thorak's full health. Thorak can actually do decent damage. He has good resistances, good defense. And Black Orcs don't have the best stats, so needs to get a little bit busier here, and the Greenskins now are starting to look really, really good. The Brimstone guns are starting to die. They have managed to get this Troll Hag off, but the Doom Divers are still healthy. 3 unit models. And this one might have lost one there through the bombing run, so that's a nice use of them by Call HR. But we've got Orc Boys and Goblins fighting side by side here. Longbeards just, taking the hits as they come, but Black Orcs into the rear of the Longbeards here. Black Orcs on Black Orcs over here, 46 and 59, and this is the real prize fight. And we see Grimgor, you'd think this would be a fight that he wouldn't mind taking. 2.8 HP over here. War going down will make him trade up a little bit, but at the moment, Thorak's kind of getting the better of him. Even with the stats, and look at the stats there, 94 melee attack, but he's still landing more hits. I'm not sure if this is a hitbox issue. It can't be a stat issue because Grimgor's an absolute boss at the moment with War going down. But in the backfield, once again, the Doom Divers have been basically saved and consolidated back here. They're going to fire away. They're going to start to rape a pretty big toll on what's left of the Dawi. I think even though Thorak does have pretty good missile resistance, I think this is the right option here. Just getting the damage. I mean, damage is damage. Your next is going to go down, which will mean Grimgor can once again come in and maybe end this fight as we see the Goblin Wolf Cavalry here. They've used their ammo. They're still pretty healthy. Can get some rear charges on the remaining Dawi infantry. Longbeard's being attacked now by Goblins. They're going to cut through them pretty well. But Thorak is tanky, but he's not this tanky. And he's probably, even with the Rune of Speed, buffing up his melee attack. the nicest amount of melee attack possible, is just not going to be able to stand up here to just the overwhelming amount of armor-piercing force. And what is going on, folks? Neckbet has now won 2 games in the space of 3 days on a Total War YouTubers channel. The end times truly are among us. The gyrocopters are out of ammo, so they're basically useless now. The Doom Divers are still firing. The Wolf Cavalry is just providing a screen for them. Thorek is on his last legs. Can Grimgor get the final blow? No, he's getting staggered by something. Come on, Grimgor. Come on, Grimgor. Give us the money shot to finish with. There are some Longbeards still fighting away bravely here. No, and that's nice play by Cool HR, coming down with the Brimstone guns just to screen out, but I don't think there's anything left in the tank here for the Dawi. Grimgor will probably whack those gyrocopters out of the air, and even with the armor piercing of the miners is nice, but yeah, Black Orcs just aren't going to care. At the end of the day, Grimgor is going to have the last laugh. That will be army losses and another win for Neckbet. You'll love to see it. Slayers are going to, fight to fulfill their Slayer oath over here, but that's going to be it. That's the game, and well played to the Scion of Slaanesh. So Grimgor getting some absolute work done. It'd be actually interesting to see with just your next how much he costs. It probably wouldn't be much more than, it couldn't be much more than 1,500 at the absolute most. So he's had a good day out. Plenty of good targets for him here. He absolutely beat the brakes out of that engineer, and surprising that Thorek was actually able to go toe-to-toe to him for as long as he did. Must be a hitbox issue there, because yeah, Grimgor was definitely getting out-dueled for quite a while there. So some good Spirit Leeches going down, but yeah, probably should have been targeted a little bit earlier. I mean, all these Brimstone guns have got okay value, but they probably just needed to snipe her off first. And like I said, I mean, even with the armor piercing of the Morgan's Magi Marauders, I mean, they've gotten decent value, but the other ones here, they just don't really care. 100 armor, and obviously, flying units aren't really a great target for non-direct missile fire generally. Skirmish cav like Pistoliers and Outriders and things like that can hit them, but yeah, things like anything with a bow really struggles against flyers generally. So, or unit model flyers, particularly when they get staggered. So the Black Orcs, decent kills, not a ton of value, but they were going pretty strong in the end game. Probably some nice Fanatic casts. We saw a couple of good ones there. So both the Fanatics doing some good work, and Orc boys in the front line are just pretty meaty. They have good hitting power. Don't have great stats, but when WAR goes down, for a 450 gold unit, they really can trade upwards, even with a lack of AP. Like, they'll beat Dwarf Warriors. I think with a couple of wars, maybe they can kind of, for cost, do okay into Longbeards. But they'll beat, provided you can take the blasting charges on Goblins, which was mainly the case here. They'll beat Miners quite comfortably. Miners not known for their stats. So Slayers getting some decent value. Rangers probably didn't have a ton of great targets here, to be honest. And yeah, just the target priority on the gyrocopters probably could have been a little bit better. But some nice value on the Doom Divers. And like I said, they're a very underused artillery piece. They have really good single target DPS. They're almost more like bolt throwers than they are catapults. They will, like I said, they will kill unit models of infantry, tightly packed infantry. So they're still decent in a way there, but yeah, their projectile tracking is quite absurd. So nice game by Neckbet. This used to be a really good matchup for the guys. Matchups kind of like changed. It's kind of gone both ways over time. I feel like at the moment it's very, very hard for Greenskins though. Not unwinnable, but yeah, gyrocopters are really hard, are really easy to abuse here. Even Black Orcs, they hit hard, but their stats are poor, and they actually struggle even into things like Longbeards and Ironbreakers just to actually land hits. When they do good damage, but yeah, nicely done by Neckbet on this occasion. So thanks for sending it in, and I'll have to go back to casting your losses again soon, because this feels weird. Anyway, thanks for checking out the video. Thanks to both these guys for a great game, and we'll be back with more soon. Till then, take care.